Right, so this is going to be another movie review. This one called Judge Priest, 1934. Giving it 5 out of 5 stars. I love this flick. Any flick with Stepin Fetchit, it gets an automatic 5 out of 5. On this channel, we love Stepin Fetchit. Judge Priest is a 1934 U.S. comedy film starring Will Rogers. The film was directed by John Ford, produced by Saul Wurtzel in association with Fox Film, and based on humorist Irvin S. Cobb's character Judge Priest. The picture is set in post-Reconstruction Kentucky, and the supporting cast features Henry B. Walthall, Hattie McDaniel, and Stepin Fetchit. We love Stepin Fetchit on this channel. It was remade by Ford in 1953 as The Sun Shines Bright. See, distributed by Fox Film Corporation. Release date September 28th, 1934. Running time 80 minutes. Just perfect running time. And glorious black and white, of course. Country United States. Language English. Box office of 1.176 million. US and Canada rentals. Personable Judge Priest, Will Rogers, known to his contemporaries as Billy, presides over court in Fairfield, Kentucky in 1890. Jeff Poindexter is accused of chicken theft. Jeff Poindexter is Stepin Fetchit. We love Stepin Fetchit. Senator Horace Maydew, a rival in an election bid to the judge seat, as well as the prosecuting attorney in Jeff's case, who, after some distraction by Priest and the other court onlookers, is found innocent. Priest befriends Jeff and goes fishing with him after court and hires him in his household. They use beef liver as bait for catfish. Priest's nephew, Jerome Rome Priest, has just returned home after studying law and passing the bar, and he attempts to rekindle his romance with Ellie Mae Gillespie, but she explains that she now has other interests. Rome's mother, Mrs. Caroline Priest, has made it her business to enforce propriety and makes it known that she is completely against a match between her son, Rome, and Ellie Mae, as the young woman's father has been absent and is unknown. So this is the reason why my first wife said, nobody likes me because I'm a bastard. Ellie Mae is having the same problem. Mrs. Priest is vocal about her hopes that Maydew's daughter, Virginia, would be a proper societal match for Rome, and she pushes him in that direction. While visiting his late wife's grave, Priest takes note of local townsman Bob Gillis, who places flowers on Ellie Mae's late mother's grave, which later becomes relevant. Uncouth barber Flem Talley has been courting Ellie Mae, but his unwelcome advances towards Ellie Mae makes it appear that he's not looking for her hand in marriage. No, he just wants a cheap shanty tramp. Flem's bar. He's got this annoying laugh too. And his hairdo, it looks weird. Flem's barber shop is a busy place. Both Priest and Gillis wait their turn as Flem jokes about his courtship with Ellie Mae, not hitting towards marriage because she ain't got no paw. Wow, I've been married twice and both of them ended in failure. That goes to show you the kind of stuff that Ellie Mae had to go through, I had to go through. And she's very attractive too. But it's 1936. There's no kind of blasphemy or nudity going on in this one. Gillis is immediately offended, and he punches Flem in the face, knocking him down. Priest expresses his relative approval, which later becomes an argument of bias by Senator Maydew that forces Priest to recuse himself when Gillis is tried for assault. He's accused of assaulting Flem at the pool hall when in fact, Gillis was defending himself from an attack by Flem and the two others. Rome is very enthusiastic about representing Gillis in court, as he will be Rome's first client as attorney. The senator pushes hard for a guilty verdict, but Reverend Ashby Brand has information that will demonstrate Gillis's long-standing good moral character, which Priest helps to reveal as associate counsel for the defense. All right. So the film played a major role in earning Will Rogers recognition as the #1 box office star of 1934. Rogers received critical praise for his performance, some noting that Rogers fell right into the role with his heartwarming personality. Rogers managed a balance of comedic one-liners and serious dramatics. The Tulsa Daily World summed up Rogers' performance. The star's portrayal of Judge Priest has the mark of authenticity upon it, the unique blending of unique talent with a rich and splendid role. Rogers was killed in a plane crash just a year after the release of Judge Priest. In the role of Jeff Poindexter, director John Ford gave Stepin Fetchit some room to expand his comedic performance. When Judge Priest asked Jeff why he's not wearing his shoes, Fetchit comedically ad-libs, "I'm saving them for when my feet wear out." Fetchit was known for attending lavish parties and causing mischief while off the studio lot. Right before the shooting of Judge Priest, Fetchit caused a commotion at the benefit show at the Apollo Theater in New York City. When he arrived back in Hollywood for the filming of Judge Priest, Fetchit's behavior was much better. In fact, only once was Fetchit late for a shoot. He had forgotten his makeup kit. Hattie McDaniel, last name appears as McDaniels in the opening credits, was just beginning her trek to stardom before she shot Judge Priest. Before this film, she was a relatively unknown actress. Stepin Fetchit apparently doubted her acting abilities at the beginning of the production, but Fetchit soon realized he was working with a very talented performer. Director John Ford noted McDaniel's acting talents. Ford cut some of Fetchit's scenes and gave McDaniel additional scenes. This created an initial rift between the two pioneering black actors. They should have gave more scenes to Stepin Fetchit, honestly. That guy. We love Stepin Fetchit here. The film was a success at the box office. It was one of Fox's biggest hits of the year. 5 of the studio's 7 big hits starred Rogers. In 1998, Jonathan Rosenbaum of the Chicago Reader included the film in his unranked list of the best American films not included on the AFI Top 100. Some of the music, Hattie McDaniel and Will Rogers. Okay. You got My Old Kentucky Home, Good Night, and Dilsey's Improvisation. Love's Old Sweet Song, Just a Song at Twilight. Massa Jesus Wrote Me a Note. Old Folks at Home. Old Black Joe, I Wish I Was in Dixieland. Little Brown Jug, and Dilsey's song. See also The Sun Shines Bright, John Ford's 1953 film based on the same original material by Irvin S. Cobb. This is a public domain film. That's the only reason why I watched it. It was free on Cult Cinema Classics YouTube channel, which I had started reviewing a lot of their stuff. But then I got kind of sidetracked with Renegade and Adrian recommendations and Karate Man recommendations. And my list kind of got skewed from Cult Cinema Classics to that kind of stuff. So now I'm back in business with Cult Cinema Classics reviews. All right. Judge Priest, 1934, at 1 hour, 20 minutes. 6.2 out of 10 on IMDb. Not a bad rating. Pretty decent. 2,600 ratings. It's not super popular, but pretty mainstream for a 1934 movie. Judge Priest, a proud common sense and considerable humanity to dispense justice in a small town in the postbellum Kentucky. All right. And based on Irvin S. Cobb's character of Judge Priest, was a compromise on screen source credit. Fox wanted to use based on the Judge Priest stories by Irwin S. Cobb, but Mr. Cobb objected because he had written over 70 stories, was still writing them, and the statement might inhibit future sales of them. More like this: Steamboat Round the Bend, The Lost Patrol, Dr. Bull, and Pilgrimage. Quotes Judge William Billy Priest, Your Honor, as I recollect the procedure, at the time being, I'm an ordinary member of the bar in good standing. Judge Floyd Farley, not ordinary, sir, but absolutely in good standing. Opening card. The figures in the story are familiar ghosts on my own boyhood. The war between the states was over, but its tragedies and comedies haunted every grown man's mind. And the stories that were swapped took deep root in my memory. There was one man down yonder I came especially to admire for he seemed typical of the tolerance of the day and the wisdom of that almost vanished generation. I called him Judge Priest, and I tried to draw a reasonably fair likeness of him and his neighbors and the town in which he lived, an old Kentucky town in 1890. That's Irwin S. Cobb. I don't know why this Wikipedia page is not loading. I can't see the storyline, but I gave you the shortened version of it just now. We've got the Lost Patrol. I'd be interested in checking out the Lost Patrol with Boris Karloff. That looks pretty interesting. The other ones are kind of, Will Rogers and what else? Pilgrimage? I never heard of Pilgrimage. Sorry. But definitely check out the Lost Patrol. It's looking good. I don't know what's happening in my screen here, but I was about to read somebody else's review like I normally do on my channel. And it went to quotes but I didn't click on quotes. So I'm trying to go back. Here we go. Scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. Do I see a storyline? I do not. All right. Let's get to this. Boba Fett 1138 wrote a review dated March 28th, 2008. Boba Fett is giving him a very high rating, similar to mine. Boba Fett is giving it a 9 out of 10. I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. And I'm clicking on the 3 dots and nothing is happening. All right. Well, while I'm waiting for that, I've got Suburban Roulette, 1968, Jaws 3 or Jaws 3D, 1983, and Regular Fellers, 1941. That's what's coming down the pike. And now my screen just went completely white. I don't know what's going on with the Judge Priest IMDb page, but it's driving me nuts. Let's close out of there. Judge Priest, 1934. I'm kind of surprised with Will Rogers. His comedic ability with Stepin Fetchit is just pure gold. I loved every second of this. If you want to see a redneck film, check this one out. Will Rogers plays the likable redneck dude. He's got a funny Kentucky accent too. The storyline's still not coming up, but I can click on the 3 dots now. At least I think I can. All right, so Boba Fett 1138, March 28th, 2008, giving it a 9 out of 10. And the title of the review is Excellent Subtle 30s John Ford comedy. 30s comedies aren't exactly known for their subtlety, and they mostly consist out of physical humor. Think Three Stooges. This movie forms a great and wonderful exception to this. This is one great subtle comedy that is mostly funny thanks to its very amusing and extreme stereotype characters. It, of course, also really helps that they are being portrayed by some really great actors and are being directed by one great director, John Ford. Will Rogers was totally great in this role. He seemed very natural with his acting, but at the same time managed to play his character in a comical way. He was a greatly talented comedy actor who was already popular one during the silent era. He would had continued to play more comical roles, I'm sure, had he not died 1 year after this movie in a plane crash piloted by the one-eyed pioneer aviator Wiley Post. Hattie McDaniel also does in this movie what she is best known for, playing a likable maid role. She plays the mammy in this one. She's best known for an Academy Award-winning role in Gone with the Wind, which also made her the first Black actor winning the great award. Even though John Ford began making movies as early as 1917, it wasn't until the 30s that his career really took off and he gained a real big celebrity status. He also isn't best known for comedies, but mostly for his Western, often starring John Wayne. Rio Grande is one that I just reviewed. Another one of his lamestream movies. To this date, he is still the director with the most Academy Awards for Best Directing, 4 of them. I think that says already enough about the qualities of this man. With this movie, he also really seemed ahead of his time by picking an all different and very humble approach of the story and comedy. The story is actually quite simple, but oh so great. It is actually it actually is quite well layered, even though the movie, its simplicity might make you overlook this. It features lots of different elements involving the characters in this movie on both the comical as well as the more dramatic level. I also especially really like how the judge tries to hook up his cousin with his neighbor girl. I thought it was his nephew. Now it's his cousin. Okay. Boba Fett has a blog spot. The movie also truly benefits from its typical Southern atmosphere. The movie is set in a Southern town, which shows in the movie its characters, their accents, and just overall atmosphere of the entire movie. This movie was a great, pleasant surprise, 9 out of 10. I tend to agree with most of that, giving it a 10 out of 10. All right, so I'm going to watch Suburban Roulette, which will probably get me into trouble in the confessional tomorrow. But I did my little act of contrition for something else I did during the past day, having to do with custody of the eyes here in San Francisco. That's something else. But before I get into the details of that, I'll just leave it at that, and I'll cook some more tacos, and we'll get the Suburban Roulette going. I still have George Kennedy movies to add to the bottom of my movies list. I keep adding more and deleting less. I got Monkey Shines on there from one of my old fans from 10 years ago. He just decided to pop in on the chat. Monkey Shines is 3314. And then I've got Urban Legends Bloody Mary 2015, 2005 at 3317. And I'm going to add The Lost Patrol. At 3318. So I keep adding more movies and deleting less. I'm going to continue that trend tomorrow morning when I wake up at 1:30, possibly 12. I might wake up at midnight, get a head start on my list. We're making good progress. I don't have to go to this stupid jury duty standby nonsense on Monday. Thank God. And I just have to get one key for my Notary Public lockbox. I should be getting my stamp in the mail, my bond, my oath, all of that good stuff next week, and I'll be an official Notary Public. All right. I never thought about getting it. But anyways, I got it. I can put my stamp on official corporate documents. Isn't that special? Anyways, it's time for some suburban roulette. I know this is going to get me in trouble with the confessor tomorrow later.